Hey everybody, this is Mackie. So I wanted to talk about parents and the struggles that they have to go through trying to get their children to stay quiet for 2 hours during the meeting. And if your child has to ever so make a peep during the meeting, everybody's looking at you like, oh my God, control your children. They're so disruptive. Oh my God, those brats. Oh my goodness, no home training. Everything goes through their heads while they're steady judging you, steady looking at you, while you're trying to keep the kids quiet. But eventually, you gotta get up, which causes even more of an attention. It draws more attention to yourself. So you're walking with crying children, going to the bathroom. And they cry and holler and scream all the way till you get to the bathroom. And it's just like, all of these people. And it comes from mostly the people that don't have kids. You notice that. It comes from people who don't have kids. So it's like, you know, they're looking at me with all this judgment. But I'm about to use some foul language for probably the rest of this video because, this is just a vent that I would really wish I could tell some of these sisters with no kids. But it's like, bitch, back the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck I go through every day. You don't know how hard it is to work and then try to, take care of children and then study for the meeting. You are exhausted. And then it's a constant fight and battle just to keep the kids quiet for 2 hours. And then when you finally go home, you're just dead tired. You're dead. Especially on meeting night. It's just like, meeting night for me was the most stressful night of the week. Even when I was a child, it was stressful because you had to finish your homework. Either before or after the meeting. For me, mostly it was after the meeting because I was too busy getting ready for the meeting to even finish my homework. Then when you get back from the meeting, you got to finish your homework before you go to bed. It was just like, oh my goodness. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much for parents with young children, and it's also too much for young children and teenagers who have a heavy load at school as it is. Well, nowadays during the pandemic, it probably is, I don't know if I'm going to say it's any easier, but it's more convenient. Okay. Kids could get away with a lot now. They could probably just turn on the meeting thing and then not even listen to what they're saying and then just like on the side do their homework just while they're pretending like they're listening to the meeting. I know teenagers do this. If I was a teenager during this time, I would do the same thing. My husband, he'll turn on the meeting, right? And then he'll go to sleep. He won't even have his profile on, his screen on, and he'll just have it off because he already knows he's gonna fall asleep. He already knows, and he just doesn't want everybody looking at him sleeping on the computer, But yeah, my kids were, they weren't the most well-behaved kids. They would make noise, they would laugh, they would giggle. And I felt like I was a bad mom because I wasn't keeping my kids quiet. But if you I've made a video about this before, about adults who become Jehovah's Witnesses as adults and not born in. They don't understand the struggles that Jehovah's Witness born-ins go through as children. They got to probably play around. And if they did go to church, they had Sunday school, which was, play activities and things like that. Jehovah's Witness children did not have those things, see? And then the adult Jehovah's Witnesses got to go to prom, got to play sports, got to go wherever they wanted to go, live the life that they wanted to live. They got to go to college and things like that. They got to do those things while they were in their youth. They got to date. They probably had sex before marriage or something like that, So once they become a Jehovah's Witness and have children that are born as, they don't understand why their kids are so quote unquote rebellious or quote unquote depressed. They think, oh, it's this wicked system of things that's just, oh, the poor children, this wicked system of things, Satan is just trying to get at them. No, that's not it. That's not the answer. The answer is these kids can't be kids. The babies can't even be babies. If a baby is crying, they look at you with judgment like, oh my goodness, look at this mother and these loud ass kids. Well, not ass, but look at this mother with these loud kids. Oh my God, these kids have no home training. Oh this, oh that. While they're sitting up there with their children all perfect and shit. But them the ones probably get their ass beat every day. And then they have to look all perfect and smile in front of all the brothers and sisters in the congregation. I remember one day I was just like, I was over it, because I think I started slowly waking up around late 2016. I was just over it, like. I kept hanging on because I thought that I thought this was the truth. And if I'm barely hanging on, Jehovah hopefully will spare my life. Hopefully he won't fry me in Armageddon, just keep holding on. But after my mom had passed away, things got really, really tough. I didn't have that support anymore from her. And, I'm taking these 2 kids to the Kingdom Hall, mostly by myself because my husband would work on Sundays a lot. So it was a lot for me. It was a lot on me. And some days I just didn't make it to the meeting. And, my husband would call me and he'd be like, oh, did you go to the meeting today? And I'm like, no. Sometimes I would say yes, just to lie, but most of the time I'd be like, man, if he's not going to be here, I'm not going to be here. I'm tired. I cannot keep doing this. I'm tired trying to, take both of these kids when they're not going to listen. All I'm going to end up doing is sitting in the back or sitting in the bathroom. If that's the case, I might as well have just did the phone in. What's the point of getting dressed, getting the kids dressed, making sure they eat, making sure the baby don't shit on her in her diaper before we go to the Kingdom Hall, making sure my other kid don't pee on himself before we go, and then you have to literally, like, I would have to give them snacks while the meeting was going on just so that they can, keep quiet, because if you don't have a snack or some sort of tablet or something in their face while they are sitting down, they're going to be disruptive. Well, I'm not going to say what my kids have because then I might give myself away. But they had special needs. They have special needs. So it was very, very, very hard it's very hard for a mother with regular kids. Okay, but let alone somebody with a parent with kids with special needs. That was like 10 times harder. So it was almost as if, like, man, what's the point of even going to the Kingdom Hall? I can't even sit in the main auditorium. I have to either sit in the library or sit in the bathroom. I don't even try to look for a seat in the main auditorium anymore. Ever since I became a parent, I just was like, man, let's just go ahead, go to either to the bathroom or to the back. And I feel so alone and isolated because I feel like I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one with a kid with two kids with special needs. Going to struggling trying to keep them quiet because sometimes they'll have these loud outbursts and they can't help it. But other people looking on the other side, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but it was just so hard because they would just look at you in disgust. I felt like a terrible mother. I felt like a terrible mother. Like I wouldn't take them out in service much. And when I do, they would be running around, running in the street and things like that. I just felt so bad. I felt so embarrassed because I felt like, man, I'm never going to be a good enough Jehovah's Witness. I'm never going to be a good enough, sister. What's the point of me even continuing? Let me just, if Jehovah decide he wants to kill me, just let him kill me now. Like I was going through such a really bad depression after my mother passed away. And, I would try to pray it away, because it was just, I felt like I was the only one going through this. Like, why do I feel so depressed? Why do I feel so bad going to the Kingdom Hall? Every time it just feels like my stress, my anxiety would go up. It was just, it was miserable. I was miserable. But I had to keep pushing because, I didn't want Jehovah to kill me. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, it's like, what's the fucking point of even going to the Kingdom Hall when all I'm going to do is sit in the bathroom for 2 hours so that I don't disrupt anyone? I might as well stay home, And so I started staying home more. I didn't feel good about that either. It was to the point, to the point I didn't even want to live anymore. Like, what's the point? I'm a terrible mother. I'm a terrible Jehovah's Witness. If I'm terrible at that, nothing else matters. Just kill me off, just, if God wants to strike me dead now, let him do it right now, So, yeah, I was dealing with a lot being a parent, and I'm like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. So I stopped going less frequently because it was no point of me even going because all I'm going to do is sit in the bathroom. I would get more out of it doing the phone in, as what they used to call it before all of this Zoom stuff started happening. I was able to concentrate more because I would have the phone, I'd be in the living room and I'd have the phone and I'd have my headphones on listening in while I watched the kids run around and play. That was a lot easier for me than to bring them to the Kingdom Hall and then have to deal with looking at having all of these dirty looks at me, So I don't know. Then about a year later, that's when I fully woke up from it. And I'm like, man, this cannot be it. So I started doing my research and it's just like, yeah, I'm out. Well, at least mentally. I'm still not really out, like I said. That's the whole reason my YouTube name is Mackie P.I.M.O J.W. Jones. Is because I'm still physically and mentally out. Because it was just too difficult for me, and I actually don't feel bad about myself anymore. Now that I've done my research, okay. it is almost humanely impossible to keep up with all of that, to keep up with trying to go out in service, to keep up with trying to make sure your kids don't make friends with the quote unquote worldly kids at school. It's just like, what? Like, no. So the more research I did, the more I allowed them to be normal kids. Now, you know what I'm saying? I celebrate birthdays and things like that. So yeah, they're gonna be normal kids because it's bad enough they have special needs. To put that on top of them being Jehovah's Witnesses, no, that's too much. That's too much for them. That's too much for them, and that's too much for me too, you know. And like I said, I grew up in it, but my parents, they didn't understand why, some of these kids are so rebellious. It's because the born-ins, and I'm talking about the born-ins, is because they never was able to do anything. When you were a kid, you were a quote unquote worldly kid. You got to celebrate your birthday. You got to go to prom. You got to date. You got to do everything you wanted. And then once you grown, hey, if you want to become a Jehovah's Witness when you grown, hey, that's you. But you have to take into consideration the children. I feel so bad for them sometimes. Because they're programmed into thinking that everything is just so sinful and so bad. A fucking cupcake will get you struck by Jehovah. Let them tell it. I told you about the time I had Valentine's Day candy in another video that I had. Like I was saying, I had to go to the hospital. My stomach was killing me. And then after I got back home, my mother, she always tells the lady that she was studying with, they became real good friends afterwards. And so she tells her everything that goes on. So the sister was like, so why did you go to the hospital? She already fucking knew. I'm like, I'm not about to tell this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Cause I already knew she was trying to get it out of me. I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna tell you I had Valentine's Day candy. Why? You ain't my mama, goddamn it, And then, oh my goodness, going back to getting the nasty ass looks from the brothers and sisters who don't have kids. It's just like, bitch, until you've been there in my fucking shoes, turn your motherfucking neck around and mind your goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? I be wanting to say that to them so bad. I'm like, if you don't turn your motherfucking neck around, you know what I'm saying? And man, if you ain't talking about helping me, shut the fuck up and stop fucking looking over here. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't talking about helping me with these kids, help me help them, make them be quiet. I remember I went to a memorial one day, and my kids, they have speech issues, and they struggle sometimes. And the sisters are like, how come she don't talk to me? And I it's just like, I'm like, well, it's because of the condition that they have. Oh, okay, well, I bet you if you gave her to me for 5 minutes, I bet you she'll start talking. I'm like, bitch, I would like to fucking see you try. They are so fucking, oh my God, uneducated too. It's just like, damn. You're stupid and you're judgmental. How the fuck you gonna be judgmental when you don't know shit? All you know is what Watchtower tell you. So yeah, I was just on one today. Because I just, I feel bad for the kids and everything that don't get to do anything. Don't get to celebrate their birthday. Life is short. Life is extremely short. Okay, I don't want to give myself away. I really don't, but um, you never know when you'll be able, when the last day with your kids is the last day with your kids. So do everything that you can with them, because you never know. They could be here today, gone tomorrow, and then when you find out that the religion that you've been in is a cult, you're gonna be so angry that all that time you could have spent with your kids was taken away with field service, taken away with going to the meetings, you know, when you could actually do some things that are fun and recreational, which they tell you not to do too much of. So I woke up just in enough time to be able to do the things that I wanted to do, because one of my kids passed away last year. Okay. Um, I don't think I've ever told anyone that, but because I already know, if I give myself away, oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, he passed away last year. I'm not gonna get into too many details about it, because like I said, I don't want to give myself away. Um, but once again, life is short. Don't keep your kids from doing the things that normal children do, because your kids are gonna end up growing up just really weird. You know, like, for example, a lot of people think that Michael Jackson is just weird, and I mean, and he kind of was. He kind of was weird. But you have to take into consideration he grew up, I think he was a born in. I'm not sure. I have to do some more research on him, but he was very young. They were Jehovah's Witnesses, so they couldn't celebrate. They couldn't go anywhere. On top of them having a very tyrannical father, that wouldn't let them even freaking go outside and play with the other kids. They felt isolated as well, you know. So yeah, this was just my rant. I don't even know what to call this rant. I really don't, but I just had to get that off my chest. Like, it basically was about, my kids. And I still have my daughter, but my other child passed away last year. So, but I'm glad I was able to celebrate birthdays and things like that before, he passed and everything. So I have no regrets when it comes to that. No regrets. No regrets at all. So, all right, you guys, let me let me clean my face up. I'm crying through my neck gator mask that I have pulled up over my face, so that you guys don't see my face or whatever, but it's cool. This is Mackie J. Jones. Question everything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Love you all. Peace.